Dhruv Rathee is an Indian YouTuber. He is an excellent YouTuber coming up with the ideas that are unique and innovative in one way or another way, coming up with alternate points about history, about Indian society, about Indian religions as well. Recently, I happened to watch one of his videos on Ram, and I was greatly impressed by the energy that he might have invested in investigating or in probing into this matter of religious interpretation. And he came up with an enlightened and humanistic interpretation of Hindu religion, especially when it comes to the story of Ram. It seems that Rathi is strongly opposed to the ideas of fanatical elements of Indian society that are spreading hatred in the name of Ram, forcing people to say Jai Shri Ram, propagating against Indian minorities, especially Muslims, and giving tough time to Christians as well. When I read the story of Ram for the first time, these are the same questions that baffled me. And I was just wondering as to why there couldn't be an alternate interpretation of the story of Ram, especially when I compare the story of Ram with those of other rulers. I'm really surprised because the character of Ram appears to be very humanistic, very kind, and the way he dealt with the situation, despite the fact that he deserved the crown, he was heir to crown, but his mother, sort of came up with a plan to send him on Banmas, and she was interested in seeing her own son to be the king or the prince of at that time. Instead of picking any fight, instead of creating chaos, instead of fighting, Ram opted to follow whatever his mother had said. And I also read, if I'm not mistaken, I read it long time ago that the stepbrother, who for whom his mother had, orchestrated this all, he also, in a way, was reluctant to be king or to take the position of Ram. Now, if we compare it with the many people who loved power in the past and even today who love power and go to any extent, they do not hesitate in spilling human blood. They do not hesitate in creating divisiveness. They do not hesitate in spreading hatred to achieve their political objectives. But Ram did not do that. On the other hand, he followed the path of peace, path of unity. He adopted the path of brotherhood instead of picking any fight. For instance, if you look at a number of Mughal emperors, they, like for instance, Aurangzeb killed his own brothers, and he also put his father behind bar. And in the same way, you could see other Mughal emperors, they also did that. In Turkey, among the Ottoman emperors, we had this terminology of fratricide, that if one brother ascended to power or ascended to crown, he would get other brothers killed in one way or another way. If you look at European history, you could find the same. A number of kings and princes were killed, and there used to be royal conspiracies as well, with the one brothers fighting another brothers, or cousins fighting another cousins, or even in some cases, father and mothers fighting their own son. But when it comes to Ram, he adopted the path of peace, and he did not fight for the sake of power. He did not fight for the sake of ruling over the country. Today, BJP is trying to create disharmony in India. Honestly speaking, they have been doing it quite a few years now. Otherwise, during the decade of 70s, their numerical strength in the parliament was almost non-existent. But they picked up this issue of Babri Mosque, demolishing it, creating chaos, instilling fear in the hearts of minorities, and now it seems to have become a permanent phenomenon of Indian politics. Whenever there are elections, especially BJP and other fanatical elements of Indian society, they start spreading hatred, especially against Muslim. But does Rathee's interpretation have any lesson for Muslim and the followers of other religion? Should they also question the interpretations or interpretations of their own religion? I'll cover it in different parts, and this is just part one, and I will come up with part two and other parts to discuss that.